Hello, welcome. In our dialogue, we have two people at a restaurant. The waiter asks them if they are ready to order. The woman asks the waiter if he could recommend something for her. The waiter recommends the steak, but the woman ordered a seafood pasta. The waiter asked if they would like anything to drink, and the man responded by saying, "We would like to have some wine." The waiter followed his request by asking if he would like red or white wine. Red and white wine are the two most common categories of wine. Red wine tastes great with red meat, and white wine usually goes best with fish or chicken. The woman became impatient and said, "What's taking our food so long?" Thankfully, the waiter arrived shortly after with their food. Finally, they were ready to pay. The waiter asked if they would pay with cash or card. Card means credit card. The man says, "I'll put it on my card." This means he wanted to pay using his credit card. These are useful phrases that you can use when you are talking about food. Dissatisfied with food or satisfied with food. Our first key sentence is, "Are you ready to order?" This is a common sentence a person will ask you if you are at a restaurant. Usually, a waiter will ask this to you after you have looked at the menu for a few minutes. Our second key sentence is, "How would you like your steak cooked, sir?" This is a common question a waiter will ask you after you order red meat. Red meat is cow meat, so it can be eaten raw, medium, or well. Different people like their red meat cooked at different temperatures, so it is an important question. When someone says, "I'm starving," it means they are really hungry. Of course, you can simply ask, "Do you like steak?" if you are trying to learn about someone's favorite food. Now, if you are in the mood for something special, you could say, "I feel like having pasta." This means that the speaker would like to eat some pasta. If you are dissatisfied with your food, you might say, "The meal was terrible," or instead of saying terrible, you could also say awful, bad, disgusting, or even nasty. Like, that meal was nasty. And sometimes people add too much salt on their food. In that case, you could say, "Oh, it tastes too salty." Nobody likes too much salt. Yuck. On the other hand, if you were satisfied with your meal, you might say, "I'm definitely coming back here again." This means that the meal was so delicious that you want to revisit the restaurant again in the future. Of course, you're not always able to finish eating the whole meal. Especially in America, the food is so big. In this case, you would need a box to take the food home in. You would say, "Can I get this wrapped to go, please?" American restaurants often give lots of food to only one person. It's why Americans are it is common to ask the server to wrap up your meal so you can take it home and eat it later. I used to wait tables during my university days. I worked as a waiter for 5 years. It was a great job to have in America as a university student. A big difference between America and Korea is that it is customary to tip your server in America. Normally, the customer will tip 10, 15% of the bill. So if the customer spent $100 on food and drinks, they would leave $15 for the server. Maybe more if it was a good server. I had some good and bad nights as a waiter. I once worked 12 hours and only made $10. Very bad. But another time I worked only 5 hours and I made $300. It's not easy work, but it's a lot of fun. I could never be a server in Korea though. You don't make any tips here. So always remember to tip when you eat out in America. And one more thing. Usually in America, each person will pay for their own meal. However, in Korea, sometimes it's the oldest man who has to pay for everything. Oh boy, not for me. I'm older than all my friends. Maybe I'd always have to pay for my friends' food, and I don't want that.